The fuck, Ray? What are you doing here, bro? Get the.
Okay, we have here David Hakopyan, producer, musician, jack of all trades.
Sort of.
You might know him from his latest project, AntennatheEnd, and also from the Apex Theory. So, I guess which one came first, your producing or this AntennatheEnd? I mean, I know it's been a while since you did Apex Theory.
Well, the producing actually started with Apex Theory.
Okay.
Yeah, that was more like especially towards when we turned into a 3-piece.
Okay.
During that time, we were pretty much self everything, you know, and it all kind of came together where it was a moment where we had hired this engineer / co-producer, and the guy started drinking again. So we would find him underneath the console half the time. And then we decided, I guess we're self-producing. So
okay.
Taught myself Pro Tools, taught myself how to record fucking shit. And it was me, Sammy, and Art, the three of us just going at it. And luckily the guy's sober, knock on wood now. He's good, but that turned us into producer engineers as well in that process. So yeah, like towards the middle to end of the Apex Theory world is when I started producing and stuff. So.
At what point did you find your producing venture was more than just like you're just doing as a means to an end to just working on your own music as you transitioned it into working with other artists and making it into an actual craft?
Right. I think it started, so as we were done with the whole Apex Theory thing, I got asked to do a few little clips for like commercials. And some of them I just did for free. Mm-hmm. Like it was like an online thing, and they needed. It was actually the first one I ever did was for EA Sports, but for NFL Street Ball. But it was for their online thing, so they actually had already run out of their budget. But they needed some more music for their online, posts or whatever. So I did that, and that kind of started getting me into like, producing for other people, let's say, and writing and composing cues and shit like that. And then ultimately from there, I pretty much understood, okay, now I can take this skill set that I'm honing and help produce other bands. And it just slowly came my way, honestly. Like a friend of a friend, hey man, will you do a song with me? And I had most of the gear. I didn't have this console back then. It was just more like computer and a few gadgets and like a good studio, small studio space. It was like half the size of this, slowly but surely, you do 1 or 2 songs with one guy, learn more about it, figure it out. I did this one EP for this guy actually right here, Clark Chimp. Which is like really cool, like kind of atmospheric folk with like interesting guitar kind of tones and really amazing singer-songwriter. The guy has a fucking beautiful voice. I did his EP in 2017, and then that kicked off into other people that I started working with. Some of them, Danny Ora. I think I've sent you some of her music. I mean, nothing that insanely notable, but it's been keeping me busy. And it's kept the studio going, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. It's interesting you brought up the EA Sports thing, because I know that the video game world has been incorporating more like musicians, not just guys that write jingles for commercials. But at what point did you start realizing like, oh, okay, I'm not just some random guy that they just happen to stumble across, and then this is kind of like a real thing?
I guess when they asked me, I don't know. It's like when they ask you to do something, you do it, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna use that. And by the way, now we have a budget to pay you to do stuff. It's like, okay, as soon as the money comes in, then everyone thinks you're real. So that's kind of what I think when it was. It was over a decade ago at this point, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 2010 or so.
Have you ever had any Apex Theory music in like commercials, or was that something that you ever worked into that world at that time?
Apex Theory, not really commercials, but I know a lot of it was used for TV shows. Okay. Like on MTV. I think, I remember one time seeing our like ASCAP, you get these like ASCAP breakdowns and stuff, and it was on like Regis and Kathy Lee.
Oh.
What they used, I don't know, they used like one snippet of a song on Regis. There was a TV show called Alias.
Okay.
They were using moments of Apex Theory music on there. And then like the biggest thing Apex Theory was used for in the video game world is for Activision for Remember that there was that Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report?
Yeah.
There was a video game.
Okay.
That was the Minority Report video game, and the only band that was on there was Apex Theory, which is kind of neat, you know. So, although I heard the video game sucked, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, you remember Minority Report?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So the video game, I gave it to a few of my gamer cousins, like, "Hey kids, like, check it out. Your big cousin is in this thing," and they're like, they played it. They're like, "The video game sucks, dude. Like, couldn't you be in a better video game?" Like,
yeah.
I didn't choose this, you know.
Yeah. How long did Apex Theory go for?
Well, it started in '99, March of 1999 was our first show, March 5th at the Troubadour, and our very last show, I want to say, was like 2008, sometime in 2008.
Okay.
So 9 years roughly.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, that was a 9-year run, and you know, ups, downs.
Yeah.
Downs, you know,
You're one of those bands that started off indie. You had the big major label deal. I guess no one was really sure if you were actually still a major label band, but then you kind of went ahead and just kind of put out your own music. So,
right.
Which is at a time where a lot of people are just still chasing record deals instead of doing stuff independently. So, what did you guys learn about the independent music world at that time? I mean, it wasn't really like something that everyone wanted to do at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were lucky enough to be able to do it on our own, you know, where we had some of the know-how of how to, you know, record ourselves, to, you know, put out music. What was really interesting is, as Apex Theory was pretty much turning into a 3-piece, because we went from DreamWorks Records got sold to Interscope.
Yeah.
And we got asked if we wanted to go to Interscope. And at that moment, we were like trying to figure out who the singer of the band's gonna be, you know? And we didn't know, and I was like, yo, man, we're kind of in limbo. I think if we go and we sign with them or just get locked in with them, it's gonna be the death of us. Completely.
Yeah.
Morally, you know, musically maybe even, because then they're gonna start demanding shit that we're not gonna even be able to fulfill. So we opted out. We're like, you know what? We don't want to go to Interscope. Let our like deal just pretty much dissolve, and thank you so much for the years you gave us and the years we gave you, and that was it. And then right at that time, through a friend, I met a guy named Rob McDaniels, who had started a company called In Grooves.
Yeah.
And basically In Grooves has turned into one of the biggest like digital distribution. And they were looking to get more rock acts, and he knew about Apex Theory. So we met. He's like, hey, I'd love to give you a distribution deal, do all your music through us. And, sure. So, and we started doing that. They gave me a really nice deal, very artist-friendly deal.
Okay.
You know, and it was like, okay, let's do this. And then we were fortunate enough to, you know, have some private funding. People came through that believed in the music, you know. Actually, notably John Donlan from System of a Down.
Okay.
Yeah, really loved the band at the time, and he came in and, you know, he took his Ozfest earnings at, you know, and would literally dump it into us. Amazing. Yeah. No contracts.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know about that.
Yeah.
And he's a sweetheart for doing that, and you know, now I gotta go wash his car every weekend to pay him back. Fuck.
Yeah. You gotta,
so
you gotta volunteer some time at his comic book store.
Yeah, you know, I basically put all of his million comic books in alphabetical order. You know, luckily I'm pretty OCD, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, you messed one up. It's like.
I know. It's like, in the Z section, you put something that's from the C section. Fuck off, John. Anyway.
Yeah. So during that time, did you have any other, I mean, other than the music you did for commercials, did you put out any other music, whether it's a solo thing or anything?
Nah. I mean, honest to God, from about like 2009-ish, well, I worked with a few bands. There was a band that I did with Dryden from Alien Ant Farm and another friend of mine named Jack Armenian. It was basically their band. I came in as the bass player. I played one show with them.
Okay.
You know, but for the most part, right around 2013 is when I started really like going, okay, I just started writing a lot, you know. Okay. I started writing a lot around 2010, 11, which has now become AntennatheEnd. And, you know, I went through a divorce, went through the band dissolving, you know, death in the family, all this stuff starts coming at you. And sometimes as a person that, you know, the only way you could deal with it is either destructing or creating. So as an artistic temperament, you know, so I try to choose creating rather than destructing. So I started writing songs and played a few shows, but everything on the DL. And I didn't know I was going to be the singer of the band either. I thought, you know, like I'm going to get. I actually worked with a few guys. I worked with the guy who became the singer for Blind Melon.
Okay.
I can't remember, Travis maybe is his name. It was a quick thing. It was like for a few months. He came through. He loved the music, and he was already like he had already replaced Shannon Hoon. He was doing shows with them, but he wanted to do something different. And he was like, "Dude, me and you, let's do this shit." And he liked the band and he liked the music, but ultimately it got to a place where he himself was like, "I think you should sing. I think you should sing these songs." So, you know, fuck it, here we are. You know, like all right. So I started just dabbling into it, but now I'm actually taking it seriously. And, you know, we got that video we shot.
Yeah.
We have the other video too, but this is the one that just came out literally 4 days ago. October 10th is finally released. You know, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you a natural singer, or were you one of those guys that you just kind of messed around and then you're just like, okay, maybe you have something there?
Look, as a kid, I would sing, but I don't think I'm like a natural singer. I never wanted to be up front, hence why I chose the bass as the main instrument. I like writing and doing, you know, backup vocals and just monkeying around on the side, basically.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be in the fucking center. Never. But with this music, and also I never felt like I had enough, like, you know, when you're in your 20s, look, some people feel like they have something to say in their 20s. At that moment, I thought, instrumentally, I felt like I had something to say, but I hadn't lived enough. And it wasn't until like my mid to late 30s where I was like, okay, we've lived. I got some stories.
Yeah.
Talk about these stories, and you know, it is what it is. Like, so now it feels more natural than ever. You know, and yeah, I mean, most people think the coolest thing is if anyone that doesn't know Apex Theory or hasn't known me as a bass player, they don't flinch. Like, dude, I love your singing.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people, including very dear old friends, are like, especially the first time around, you know, they would just be like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, doing it. Like, but I see you as a bass player. I'm like, yeah, but I'm doing this too, you know. And,
yeah.
You know, it's fun. But they've come around. A lot of those people actually come through here for the shows we've had in here or wherever. And they're like, dude, fuck, like, you're a fucking front man. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. You know, so I'll take it.
Did you ever try to sing in Apex Theory? Because I know Art sang, but
not leads. I would do some like chanty stuff in the background. We kept it very like, you know, specific. It was like Andy's the lead vocalist, Art's the guy that does the harmonies, and I would do like more of chanty stuff here and there, like the Hope Diggy chants and stuff like that. We would do that all together, like gang vocals, but I was never like an actual singer in that band.
Because when you were a trio, I remember Art became the singer, and then it's like you kind of sang, but, but you weren't really doing just the chanting.
Yeah, no, with that I did a little bit of like harmonies in the background. Sammy took most of the harmonies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has a higher voice too, and it was fucking really cool. Like Sammy would do some like the harmonies with him. I would do some other things, but it's still like they would also tell me my voice was too dramatic. You know, and, like I would like sing a part. They're like, dude, tone it down. I'm like what's the problem? You know, like, you're too dramatic. I'm like, which for a lead vocalist it works better.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, as a backup vocalist, you do need to kind of just blend in, and I've always had that trouble blending in, so to speak, I guess. So.
Since you're doing that, you think an opera is in your future?
Tomorrow, I'm gonna write something for me and Serge to perform.
Yeah.
Called it The Two Armenians in Hollywood. Yeah, I don't know.
Why not? I mean, you're already doing it, so.
Fuck it, let's write an opera. Let's do a whole thing. It'll be a rock opera. An Armenian rock opera.
Yeah. So, now, AntennatheEnd, when do you feel is the official start of the band? I know you said you've been doing this for a while, so.
I think, personally, it wasn't until last year, right around like mid-2021, where it was like, yo, we gotta fucking do this. It might have even, going in, and especially because of the way I feel about the drummer and the guitar player, Brock Bowers and Tade Petrosian, the way we came together, and Tade had brought his one friend in, Heros, younger kid, great fucking guitar player himself. Okay. But between me, Brock, and Todd, there was this nice synergy that kind of started feeling like the synergy I have with Sammy and Art.
Yeah.
That's the toughest thing to find, that is that chemistry, that synergy, that unexplainable vibe that you have with someone, which is and I'm feeling that with these two guys a lot. And then now Heros is, he's come on board too. He's great as well. And so I would say like in this last year and a half is when this thing actually started. And we did like a nice little run from here to South by Southwest, played a few shows, played a show with Jason Radford in Phoenix with his new band, and that was I think March 2022 on the way to South by Southwest.
Okay.
So yeah, dude, I would say, especially after the pandemic, there was that moment of either you're doing this or you're not, and then the vibe. And I've known these guys now, like Brock and Todd. I've played with them off and on since 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and they were the guys that stuck it out. So, because I've had each position in the band, I've had 6 different members.
Okay.
That's fucking nuts.
I can't even keep track how many different versions of the band I've seen.
Yeah. Horn section, without horn section, acoustic, female singer, different female singer, another keyboard player, 2 keyboard. What the fuck? Listen, part of it is just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Just have fun. I mean, everyone I'm not chasing a career in like band life. I'm chasing a feeling that music gives me, and I want to try hey, let's try this song out where we have like 2 horns doing those sections instead of guitar parts. That's amazing. Cool. We're gonna do a set like that, And luckily enough, we live in LA, and I've had some, I guess, reputation of like, the guy from Apex, this and that. So there's some decent players around me.
Yeah.
And they're all like always gung ho, and they really do like value the music. So that's fucking awesome. Very fortunate.
Yeah. Do you still keep in touch with the horn section and all those guys?
Yeah, I mean Tony Tromboni plays for, I think I want to say Iration or Revolution.
Okay.
The trombone player. His name is Anthony Rinaldi actually, but we call him Tony Tromboni. Tony Tromboni, and we talked just like a month ago. I think they were doing something in Costa Mesa, and he's going to be recording on some of the songs too.
Okay.
And yeah, the other guys, I mean, we talk here and there, I keep in touch with them. I invite them to shows. They're always invited to come to the studio if they ever need to record anything, so.
You had Sammy play for a little bit, right?
Yeah. Watson played for a little bit, and I just felt like the band was in such development at the time. It wasn't fair to him. He's just too good.
Yeah.
He's just so fucking good. I was like, dude, like I'm in baby steps right now. I'm literally recreating something, or like kind of finding a whole new me by being like the guy in the center. I mean, look, I gotta tell you, the first show we ever did as AntennatheEnd, I think Sammy might have been playing drums. I can't remember. And it was with a band called Red Sparrow or something. Really cool band. They're pretty well known. We did a bootleg theater show. I don't know if you remember the bootleg theater over on Beverly.
Red Sparrow sounds about right.
Red Sparrow, I want to say they might be like a Chicago, like kind of like almost shoegazy, art rock kind of thing. Really cool band.
Okay.
And we were opening for them, and it was one of the first times where I was in the center, and when I looked over, I didn't see Sammy playing drums.
Okay.
And it threw me off because I've had 9 years of playing bass with Sammy, and like his hi-hat, and us looking at each other and like doing goofy bullshit things, and me going over and smashing his cymbal with the headstock of the bass. And all of a sudden, like, I look over and it's a guitar player, and there was a female singer on this side, I think, and I'm just going like, what the fuck? And it's just like the audience is staring at me. I'm like, okay, and I could just only feel his bass kick behind me, like before I would always see it, and I would see, because we're locking in as bass player and drummer, so I don't know, I can't remember what the question was. Yeah, Sammy played, but yeah, it just felt like it was too much in development for him. I felt bad. I was like, yo, dude, like you should be doing all kinds of, I mean, fuck, Morrissey asked him to play. You should have been playing with Morrissey. You should have been, I think at one point maybe even Animals as leaders.
Okay.
Hit him up, yeah. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
This is great. What else, Ray? What else?
Okay. And the other thing I forgot to bring up in the beginning is you also have the label.
Yeah, Toys of the Masses.
And throughout this whole journey, when did that exactly start?
Toys of the Masses, basically, it was the first Apex Theory digital release through A Grooves, and they asked me, like, what's your label? I don't have a fucking label. I was just like, it's us. It's just the 3 of us. I was like, yeah, but we want to put a label name. We need a big label name. And I kind of just farted it out, like, Toys of the Masses. They're like, oh, that's cool. And that was 2007 with the Light Post EP, the Apex Series Light Post EP. That was the first thing Toys the Masses ever released.
Okay.
We did maybe one or two other things. We did a version of Apex Series we called it Mount Helium.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
Right? Released that, and then honestly, from that time to about 2016, 17, didn't do shit with the label at all. I was just busy in the commercial. I was just making money and like being depressed. You know, and that was life. Like that's what it was. But I met a kid named Jonah Nimoy, and I helped him get some gigs just because Art loved him. Art's like, this kid is amazing. He was a waiter at Art's Cafe. Art had a cafe, and he called me. He's like, hey, listen, this kid is just like, he's full of fucking energy. He's super talented, multi-instrumentalist. He has a band called Furiosa. If you have any like gigs that you're doing, or if you have any opportunities that you see, put them in there. So I did. Like we had a show at the Troubadour. I was like, hey, Jonah, you want to come play? Yeah. John Dolmayan was doing something where he was asking different singers. You know, he had like Morello play on a track. He had so and so. I was like, hey, Jonah, you want me to ask John if he wants you to sing on a track? And he ended up singing like a cover of an AFI track or something.
Oh,
it's
nice.
actually on that record. I think it's on that record. Yeah, I think it is the These Gray Men.
Yeah.
You know, so. And I would just help him out, and he just pretty much was like, hey, you want to manage me, dude? Like, this is fucking dope. I go, yeah, I'll manage you. And we worked out, you know, how it's going to happen and what I could do for him and what he could do for me. And that was like the next round of like Toys of the Masses. And we released it to Toys of the Masses. Then I did this guy, Clark Chimp, and then a few other things, one or two AntennatheEnd releases. And then we started linking up with Argentinian artists because a friend of mine, Sergio, came on board just to like kind of A&R.
Okay.
So we have a ton of Argentinian artists, really cool rock from Buenos Aires, other random stuff, and I kind of don't say no to anyone as long as it's cool. Like it just it feels honest and real. Like and we have sub labels too. We have Make Noise Not War, which is through a 501c3, Make Art Not War. That's Sergio's label. We also set up a label at USC, 840 West.
Okay.
And that's basically like the music program at USC uses my Toys and Masses distribution
to
get the music out. Yeah, and we have a few really great artists. Like these kids are fucking talented. So, yeah, the catalog's been building. I mean, earlier this year, I was getting up to 100,000 streams a month.
Wow.
Yeah, now I'm at 10,000. But I'm not doing much for it. I'm just allowing it to be, you know?
Yeah.
But with this AntennatheEnd release, the blah, blah, blah Chameleon Sentences song, we're going to push it a little bit more.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Do you think you're going to go out and do any sort of touring with AntennatheEnd?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, already kind of planting the seed for that. There's a few bookers that are interested, and there's also some promotion companies in Europe and in South America that we're going to link up for next summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you know, do some festivals.
Okay.
It's going to be crazy, but yeah, I want to do it. Yeah.
Is there anything else that I missed that you're doing that you want to talk about?
The studio, the gatherings at the studio, you know. I mean, if you want, you could take some photos. Not that the studio looks that great right now, but I could give you other photos of the studio to post.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, feel free to like do a walkthrough if you want to like edit it in. If you even want to do anything like where you're walking up the stairs into here for the edit. Yeah. You know, like I'm sitting here, hey, you know, some bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
Look who's here.
Yeah.
So whatever you feel like, you know. But other than that, as for information, I mean, AntennatheEnd, just AntennatheEnd.com. All the socials are at AntennatheEnd, and AntennatheEnd is exactly how you spell it. Nothing weird or funky or cool. Just AntennatheEnd. You know, that's it. So.
All right, sounds good. Okay, awesome.